folks. So, there's so much talk now about whether ChatGPT is going to take all of our jobs as authors. And I'll say, I don't know what the future holds, but I do think there are places that ChatGPT does really well. For instance, social media posts. I think longer pieces, especially books, are a lot tougher. And it's not even because of the technology. So I want you to think back maybe 7 years ago. So at that time, I was working at a school and they had just gotten 3D printers. So I remember going to the 3D printer lab that they had there and getting taught how to make this really cool keychain with the printer. I had chosen to make a keychain out of the map of Baltimore. It was really cool. It was actually really, really nice. And I remember at the time, like all of this talk about everything that the printer could do and how people were going to be making their own braces in their own hands and printing their own houses using the 3D printer. And I remember thinking back then, like, I just wanted to come back to the 3D printer lab and make more cool stuff. So now ask me if I ever made anything else. No. How many people do you know that have 3D printed a house or even anything at all? Probably not many if you know anyone. But the technology exists. And while a 3D printer is a lot less accessible than ChatGPT, at any point in time during the time that I was at that school, I could have gone and printed something while I worked there, and I never did. Why? Because you have to know how to use the tool. So when I went down there the first time and was walked through how to use the 3D printer, someone was there holding my hand through the whole thing that knew how to use it. But could I go back down there and replicate it with the same results by myself? No, I couldn't. And then was I going to put in the time myself to go down there and fumble through it until I get the results? No, I was not. I would just go probably buy a keychain. So I think sometimes with the new technology, like whenever something new comes out, there's this impetus to focus on the capabilities of the technology and not actually take into account actual human behavior. Like, I mean, we've had spell check forever. We've had Grammarly even for a really long time now. And I want you to think about how many times every day you see things that are spelled wrong or grammatically incorrect and like wrong. So the issue is that creating a tool and providing access to a tool doesn't mean that most people are going to use that tool correctly, either because they can't figure it out or they just don't feel like figuring it out. That's just human nature. I want to give you another example. Have you ever heard of private label rights materials, also known as PLR? If you haven't heard of PLR, these are kind of template materials that people can purchase and customize to create their marketing materials, their books, etc. And it helps folks kind of take a shortcut to creating those types of products. So years ago when they really first became popular, I was hired a few times to create PLR materials. So I know that these exist for just about everything you can think of, where you can really just change up the wording, put your own customization onto that product, and it makes it really easy to get your books, ebooks, like publication products out. But even with that access, how many people took advantage of that? Percentage-wise, not many. Like PLR did really well, but there are a lot of people that just didn't use it and didn't make those products because it still takes skill and guidance to use the tool. And for most people, if they already don't know how to write the book, they also aren't going to know how to use the tool. So another thing is also, to me, tools like chat don't manage what the biggest issue is for a lot of aspiring authors. And that is not just writing the words in the book, but navigating the entire process from beginning to end. So what I see for my ghostwriting and my editing and my coaching clients is that things like just organizing the structure, coming up with the outline, coming up with a theme, setting your goals, and even just the accountability or having somebody to bounce those ideas off of and handhold you through the process are the non-writing aspects where a lot of folks really just get lost in the process and end up giving up on their book. So do I think that ChatGPT is about to put me out of work? No, I do not. And I'm actually taking it as an opportunity to just show people how to use a structure and leverage the tool to help them get their writing done. I think it can work really well as an assistant. But like any good assistant, if you want somebody to help you do something, you have to know what you need to tell that person to do. It's the same thing with chat. You need to know what to tell it to do to get you to do what you need. So if you want more info on that and how to actually use Chat GPT, contact me, visit my website. I'm working on something for aspiring authors. But I also want to hear from you. So what do you think? Is chat going to put us writers out of work? I want you to sound off in the comments. And if you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching.